What's up? What's good, my home skillets? Just make yourself at home. Welcome to my bedroom. And let's get this Q&A started. Okay, hi. Welcome to my bedroom slash home office slash shoot location slash rehearsal space slash yoga studio slash anything you want it to be. This is where I've been spending the majority of my time during this lockdown, and I am so glad to have you here. I love that shirt. Okay, so I had my stuff kind of set up earlier today because I had a shoot, and I figured, you know what? It's been over a month of circuit breaker and I have not produced any content for my YouTube channel. And this is something that I've obviously thought about before, and I have worked on a couple of things, but it's one of those things that I just never quite do, which isn't a problem, and I probably will end up speaking about that later on. But I figured, hey ho, the sunlight is in the sky through the window onto the face, so why not film something? So what I did was I asked you, my friends, dare I say fans? No, I do not dare call you fans. No, you my friend. Reached out to my friends on Instagram, and I said, basically, if I got 21 questions in the next hour between 4 and 5 p.m., I would shoot a Q&A video. And lo and behold, at 5 o'clock, I did not have 21 questions, which is to be expected. The reason why I gave myself the hour was A, I knew I would run out of motivation, which I might have, and B, I was worried I would run out of daylight. So I said I would give it a little bit longer, and the questions streamed in. So now I have a bunch of questions. It is 6 p.m. I don't know what time sun go down. 6:30? I don't know, we'll just see. So I've got a bunch of questions. Thank you for sending your questions. And I guess I'm just going to work through them. I have, questions. Okay, so I'm just gonna start from the bottom and work my way to the top. There's a song reference in there. Started from the bottom, now we're still at the bottom, we haven't started yet. Okay, let's begin. So question number 1 comes from Patu. What's up, girl? She is always so supportive of me creating content, and then I never do. I have vlogs that are a direct product of her suggestion, and they haven't come to fruition. So here's one. So she asks, if you could have one superpower, what would it be and why? If I'm thinking about traditional superpowers like running super fast and invisibility and stuff like that, I would definitely say flying, because I love being in the air. I love traveling. One of my favorite things, and I see this as my own superpower as it is walking. I love the fact that I, on my own 2 feet, can get anywhere I want. And so if I were to be able to fly, I could really, on my own, go anywhere I want. Which does bring up the question of why I wouldn't just pick teleportation. I enjoy the motion in the ocean. Yes, I love driving. I think driving has been my #1 goal. Even before acting, driving has always been my #1 because I love mobility. That is something that I hold very dear to myself, and I love the act of you go. So I think, yeah, flying. Okay, that was easy, Tia. Look, you're doing it. Okay, question number 2 comes from Kea. Hi. Should I be saying your whole handle? I assume I'm gonna put a little thing, I don't know. So Kea asks, what was it like growing up as a TCK in Singapore? For those of you who don't know what a TCK is, it's a third culture kid. I have lots of readings up there. If you guys wanna have a look or talk about it, let me know. We can have a chat. But in a nutshell, a third culture kid is essentially, and this is a very rough guideline, somebody who has spent part of or the majority of their developmental years growing up in a culture that is outside of their parents or their passport culture. So in my instance, I am half Singaporean, half Austrian. Wow, the coffee's really starting to hit. Okay, I am half Singaporean Chinese, half Austrian. I grew up mainly in Singapore. I was in international school, I was in local school, and then we moved to Switzerland, and then we moved to Hong Kong, and then when I finished high school, we moved back. So I've grown up in a lot of different cultural environments, both in terms of country and also in terms of schooling system, the kinds of cultural identities that I was seeing on a daily basis, the language, the vernacular, the way of speaking, the way of thinking. That's me. How to say? Oh, this is the second question, and I have done so many takes. Kea, thanks, man. It's a great question. It's just so many words to put into sentences. I think personally, as a child, I didn't notice. It wasn't something that I thought about. It wasn't something I could put a name to. It just was the way my life was. And I had a wonderful childhood. I really enjoyed my childhood, and my life in general. I spent the first 5 years of school in international school and then about just under 4 in local school. I guess my quintessential third culture kid experience was in international school, or began in international school, because the cultural environment and landscape of an international school is and was so vastly different to the local context of Singapore, or even the culture within my household. And that's essentially the crux of the third culture kid identity. You are migrating between different cultural landscapes and adapting to suit each one, because each one has different language, different ways of thinking, different ways of interacting, etc., etc. Wow, did I really just say etc., etc.? I did. So now looking back, I can recognize when I was in these different environments. As a child, it didn't matter to me because it came naturally to adapt. So I would be very comfortable in school, and being who I am, I was very adept at picking up accents. So apparently there was a very long period of time when I started to sound like my North Indian friends, which I still do sometimes, but I didn't know that that was happening when I was a kid. But then I would also go for catechism or Sunday school and be completely surrounded by local kids and sound and act like a local kid. As far as I know, that's what I did. I don't know. And then I'd be at home and be whoever I am at home. So I didn't notice. I think it's only now that I am an adult looking back on things, and especially when I moved away when I was 14 and onwards, that these things started to really play a big part in building my identity in a conscious way. But yeah, I think to sum it up, it just was the way my life was. I was never really made to feel like an outsider. There were of course moments in my life where I was aware that I was different. Like moving from international school to local school, that was not easy, especially for a child of that age. But it wasn't something that I couldn't overcome. I had strong support. I didn't feel out of place. I always knew that there was some part of wherever I was going that was home to me. So yeah, it was good. Okay, the next question comes from Mr. John DeClean. Hi John. He asks, what song is your biggest guilty pleasure? Something that always makes you scream. This is very, very hard for me to answer. I have so many songs I like to dance and sing to. Very hard. Okay, so there are different categories of guilty pleasure songs. Guilty pleasure songs. Guilty pleasure songs. There is Superwoman by Karen White. That is always a beautiful lip sync tune. Then there is the genre of rugby sevens music, or as some might like to call it, middle-aged white people music, which I adore. So things like Sweet Caroline or Africa by Toto. I'm getting excited thinking about them. I do actually just have a rugby sevens playlist somewhere. Where is it? Hello? Hello. Got it. No, there isn't just one. These are such hard questions. How do you pick one song? It's impossible. Eye of the Tiger. Eye of the Tiger is a song I've always been very fond of. In fact, I have used it to audition. That's right, ladies and gents. I audition with Eye of the Tiger and it gets me jobs, so. I'm sorry, John. I cannot answer that question because there are too many good songs in this world. Moving on. Another question from John DeClean. John asks, what's the weirdest experience you've had this past week? I would say the most interesting experience was doing a full-fledged commercial shoot from the comfort of my bedroom. So I did a commercial shoot for a big electronics brand the other day, and prior to the shoot, they dropped off a bunch of equipment and wardrobe. We did technical sort of discussion briefings over Zoom. We did a fitting over Zoom, lots of Zoom, and then we shot. So basically I was a one-woman team. I was acting, dancing, choreographing. I was gaff, DOP, set, art. I did it all while the creatives and clients were all on a Zoom call. That was a big learning curve for everybody. So yeah, I would say it wasn't exactly weird, but it was unprecedented. Or at least in my life. Okay, so moving on to a bunch of questions from my friend Kimberly Chan. Hello, Kim. Question number 1. Hello, are you mixed? I have mixed feelings about you. No, I am half Chinese, half Austrian. Question number 2, avocados or potatoes? You think I'm going to choose the fat over a cow? Please, potatoes. Next question. Do you have a friend called Kim, and if so, how does she rank amongst the others? Yes, I have a friend named Kim, and I used to have a couple of other friends named Kim, but I haven't spoken to them in a long time. So Kim, you rank very high amongst the Kims. In fact, you rank number 1. Moving on to your final question, Kim. Can you do a show about bagels? Cannot. Okay, next question comes from Arisha Ng. Hello Arisha. Arisha bakes very good cookies, so if you guys want to order, check her out at My Sweet Escape SG. Let me double check I plug you correctly or not. Or is it Your Sweet Escape? Whose escape? 我的还是你的？谁的？ Yours. yoursweetescape.sg on Instagram. Check her out. Okay. Moving on to her question. Hi, if the quality has drastically changed, it is because my camera keeps overheating and I'm losing daylight, so I have to sacrifice quality for the sake of having anything. Okay, so Arisha asks, how to be chill like you? Girl, let me tell you. Okay, are you ready? Let's get started. Number 1, confidence. Confidence is the most attractive thing about a woman's or a man's or anything in between. Just have confidence and everything else in your life will be chill. Number 2 is water. Drink water for hydration and yeah. And number 3 is be yourself. Because yourself is the best thing for you to be and the most chill thing for you to be, especially if you are me. Yeah, okay. Okay, moving on, we have a question from my dear friend, Michaela. Hello, friend. Check out her YouTube channel. I will link it somewhere. I don't know the name. I think it's just her name. I'm not sure. Sorry. I watched her videos, still don't know the name. Her question is, what was your experience growing up in terms of being mixed race? Okay, so this is similar but not the same as Kaya's question. I think for me, the biggest significance growing up, apart from appearance and language and stuff, was the fact that half of my family was across the world. I didn't realize that it wasn't everybody's common experience. I guess I didn't think about it that much, but it definitely was a big thing. The fact that all of my father's side was on the other side of the world, and I was lucky enough to go and see them pretty much once a year when I was young, and that's something that I really cherish. In terms of my multicultural identity, please refer to earlier in the video. But very good question. I could probably talk about that for 6 billion years. Moving on. Next question, also from Michaela. Any funny childhood stories? No, my childhood is very serious. I'm a very serious person. How to remember? Do I have any? Of course I do. Do I? Oh, there is one memory that I have. I was in K2 and we were having an end of year or Christmas or somebody's birthday party. It was a party. And I recall my thought process. I had a plate of food and I had a cup of Ribena, and I freaking loved Ribena. So I made the cup very full. I looked for a seat, found one, and I was like, nice, gonna sit down, eat my party finger food and drink my Ribena. I sit down, I look around and I'm like, where do I put this cup? If I put this on the floor, then I surely will kick it over. So the most logical place to put a full cup of Ribena is balanced on the skirt of my dress that kind of, you know, droops between my legs as I sit. Yeah, so I put it there and then somebody called my name and then I stood up. There's a photo somewhere that I will find, hopefully, and put here. Otherwise, just imagine it and enjoy it. So that's one of my most visceral childhood memories. Okay, moving on, I have a question from Melco. Hi, don't know you, but I guess now I got to talk to you, so yay. The scariest dream I've ever had. Scariest dream I've ever had. I don't know if this is the scariest dream I've ever had, but the other night I dreamt that I had my own apartment in this super tall HDB building. It was a tiny studio apartment, and suddenly something went wrong with the foundations and the whole building started to collapse in on itself. And then there was a giant tsunami. So as the building was collapsing and I was somewhere on like the 30-something floor, just waiting to reach the bottom and die, a tsunami came and flooded everything, and so somehow I managed to swim out and survived. Okay, next question. This is a question from Fatin. Hi Fatin. Fatin is a co-founder of The Assembly Point, by the way, which is our theater collective, so check us out. Fatin asks, why are you like this? Moving on to the next question, this comes from Melina. She asks in all caps, how are you coping with COVID-19? I'm coping okay. I think. I am a lot busier than I thought I would be. I'm working on producing online content now. I am prepping a lot of content to be staged whenever it can go up. So that's pretty much how I'm coping. I'm doing a lot of yoga. I've been running, I've been baking. I established a routine on the weekends that really holds me down. But also in the past week or so, I've been feeling very overwhelmed because I am doing so much and so many things in new ways that I don't think I fully registered would take up a lot of mental capacity. So in terms of coping with that, I'm trying to take a step back from productivity. Yeah. So that's what I am doing. Next is also a question from Fatin. Hey Fatin, what's up? She says, JK, what's your favorite pasta dish? I was actually just talking about pasta shapes with my dad over lunch yesterday. Favorite pasta dish would probably be anything with penne. Penne pasta. I do like, and I need to check the pronunciations for these, man. Pronouncing my pasta shapes wrong, that's just not right. Pronounce penne. Penne. And the other one I like is orecchiette or orecchiette? Orecchiette. Which kind of looks like, if you've never seen it, I'll put a picture. It looks like a red blood cell. It's kind of like a bowl that turns out on the sides. It's very nice with like a minced meat sauce. So those are my favorite pasta shapes. But yeah, pretty much anything with penne is a pasta that I will enjoy. I also like seashell pasta. If it's seashells, I'm getting excited. Then a cold pasta salad, either with pesto or tuna and pine nuts. Moving on. So the next question is from Ray, and she asks, what do you love most about acting? I love the magic. When you're on stage and you're so in the moment and you lose yourself, or your craft is so refined, or you feel yourself making such minor adjustments based off of the energy of the audience or the energy of the person that you're with on stage, those magical moments, that's just, ugh. Is so good. Next is a question from, who is this? Oh, Chris, I think. Should be Chris. Hi, Chris. He asks, what's the hardest decision you have ever had to make? Now, in general, I'm not great with making snappy decisions, so every decision is hard to make, often. I can't pinpoint a single decision that was the hardest, but I know, especially since I entered the workforce, I've had to make a lot of career-related decisions, any sort of decisions that have to do with my values versus being able to make a living. I don't think there's any particular one that comes to mind, but I am proud of a lot of the decisions that I have made, and I'm happy with where they've taken me. Wholesome. Next question comes from Liana. Hello girl, well done on your wheel thing, very nice. She asks, what gets you out of bed every day or on really bad days? This is interesting because I value productivity so much, and this is something that I constantly work on, that I find it very hard to lie in. So a bad day for me is generally characterized by the fact that I have to get out of bed. I can't allow myself to just lie around, as opposed to a lot of people that I know who might be inclined to not do anything because they can't bring themselves to, and I completely understand that, and I have been there before. So what gets me out of bed, I guess you're asking what motivates me? Generally my schedule. I just have stuff that I need to do. That's pretty much it, and that's a big thing that I would like to work on in my life. Not to say that productivity is bad, and it does bring me true joy. A lot of the time, the things that I want to get done are things that I truly care about and I'm happy to be involved in, but I do sometimes let productivity take precedence over taking care of myself. It depends. It really depends. I mean, there's some days where I just want to get out of bed because I'm hungry, you know? Okay, moving on to the last couple of questions. I don't know who this is, but they ask, are you working on anything new for now? I'm working on this. I am working on new things, or continuing to work on things. The assembly point is working towards putting up a new show, and in the meantime, we're putting up a lot of new content on our Instagram page, so make sure you check it out. I am working on a couple of different reads that will be staged online. I am working on a very fun project where I'm both acting and directing monologues that will hopefully go up by the end of the year. I am, what else am I doing? Working on building Improv-Anopolis with my friends Bill and Pavan and the rest of the Improv-Anopolis crew. We're trying to bring a lot of content from our live shows online, and also prepping for when we can go live again. What else? Oh, I've been doing shoots. Those are really interesting and I'm super, oh, I'm going to lose battery at the office. Okay, hi, I'm back. I'm really losing light. I'm losing battery. I'm losing it. What was I saying? Ah, yes. So that's what I'm working on. There are probably other things because I'm working on a lot of things. I'm also working on perfecting my banana bread recipe, a bunch of different arm balances in yoga, communicating well with my family. I am working on doing nothing. Next question comes from Tip. Hello, Sawadee-ka, what's up? He asks, why are you still single? ... question mark. Why don't we ask the audience? All right, so that's all of the questions that I got on the post, but I think I have 2 DMs that are also questions, so let me just check. So we have one from Felipe who asks, how many elephants can fit into a Volkswagen Beetle? I am familiar with these elephant riddles, and I think the answer to this one is 4, 2 in the front and 2 in the back. And final questions come from Jamil. Hi, he asks, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? How are you doing it? How many are you doing? What would happen if you didn't do it? Can I do it? Who else is doing it? What is it again? In that order. What am I doing? I'm filming a Q&A video. Why am I doing it? Because I decided that I wanted to create some content today. How am I doing it? Using my camera that my wonderful friends gifted me and suggestions from also friends online. How many are you doing? How many am I doing in terms of questions or in terms of videos? I was looking at 21 questions. I think I might have hit more. I don't know. I'm doing 1 video. What would happen if you didn't do it? Nothing. Can I do it? Yes, please. In fact, I dare you. Who else is doing it? A lot of people. A lot of people do Q&As, but none quite as interesting as this one. What is it again? A Q&A video. And with that, we have finished the Q&A video. Thank you. Thank you. Filmed content. Now let's see if I edit it and actually post it. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging around while the sun set. Thank you so much for all of your questions. Thank you for your undying patience with this channel because you guys are always supportive, even though I always say I'm about to do something and then never end up doing it. Hopefully you will see more content coming soon. Okay, I'm going to go away now. Bye bye.